Few actresses have risked as much for their careers as Charlize Theron. She broke out in the late 90s as the pretty new face of Hollywood, but quickly realized her looks were holding her back. So she did the opposite of playing it safe. In Monster, she gained weight, shaved her eyebrows, and became almost unrecognizable. The transformation was shocking, but the performance was even better, winning her an Oscar and forcing the industry to see her differently. Most actors might have coasted on prestige roles after that, but not Theron. She jumped between dramas and blockbusters and reinvented herself with Mad Max Fury Road. That role didn't just prove she could lead an action film, it made her one of the defining action stars of her generation. From Atomic Blonde to The Old Guard, she pushed herself hard, even racking up many injuries along the way, all while still chasing prestige roles and producing the films that mattered to her. This is the story of when an actress stopped playing it safe, both with her career and her body. This is Charlize Theron. It's no surprise that Theron's biggest influences have been Susan Sarandon and Sigourney Weaver, because her career feels like a mix of the two, especially with Weaver, one of the OG female action stars. But Theron's long list of injuries is on another level. From herniated discs to cracked teeth, torn thumb ligaments, to even ending up in the hospital for 5 days after laughing too hard at Borat. Her path to where she is now has been anything but safe, and even the way she first broke into Hollywood was its own wild story. Born in Benoni, South Africa in 1975, Charlize Theron had a difficult childhood. She didn't fit in at school early on and later attended the National School of Arts in Johannesburg in her teens. But at 15, her life took a darker turn when her alcoholic father threatened her and her mother, firing a gun at them through a door. Her mother shot and killed him in self-defense with no charges being laid against her. Theron has been very open about this incident and how close she's been with her mom ever since. At school, she dreamed of becoming a dancer, but winning a modeling competition at 16 pulled her in another direction. She spent a year modeling in Italy with her mom, then across Europe before returning to dance with a scholarship to the Joffrey Ballet School in New York at the age of 18. That dream ended when both her knees gave out, forcing her to give up ballet. Broke in New York, living in a friend's basement, she set her sights on acting instead, and at 19, she flew to Los Angeles. There, she lived paycheck to paycheck in a motel with her mom sending any money she could to help from South Africa. It was a low point in her life that only got worse when a bank rejected her check one day. She got into a shouting match with the bank teller, pleading because she was barely surviving. But the man in line behind her was talent agent John Crosby, who saw something in her and handed her his card, introducing her to acting coaches. It was the kind of lucky break that many dream of, built on years of bad luck. The following year, in 1995, she had her first on-screen appearance as an extra in Children of the Corn 3: Urban Harvest. No lines, just screaming. But 1996 really kickstarted her career. Her first speaking role came in 2 Days in the Valley, even appearing on the poster. The film reviewed okay, but she really stood out for her looks. She also accidentally punched Terry Hatcher in the face during a fight because she didn't know how to properly film one. A funny start for a future action star. That same year, she had a supporting role in That Thing You Do, directed by her idol Tom Hanks. She was so nervous during the audition that she kept blurting out gay instead of the character's name, Guy. Still, she became the first actor cast, but many of her scenes were cut, with Hanks even calling her to apologize personally. It didn't matter too much because her real breakout role came the following year. In 1997, she starred in Trial and Error, a courtroom comedy about an actor pretending to be a lawyer, and she played the love interest. The film didn't land with critics or audiences, but she stood out again, and critics said she brings the movie to its knees every time she comes on screen. But it was in The Devil's Advocate where she truly arrived in Hollywood. Acting alongside Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, she played the wife of a defense attorney recruited by a law firm run by Satan. Pacino went full Pacino, while Theron showed some surprising emotional range while her character suffers from the evil around her.
These women, my god, I mean, I'm saying things for Christ's sake!
You just left him in the store.
Yes!
Look, calm down!
No!
Getting the part wasn't easy. Warner Brothers and the director actually thought she was too pretty for it, but after months of screen tests, she won them over. The film was a box office hit and remains one of the strongest of her early career, a role that opened the door to more offers. With The Devil's Advocate, Charlize Theron had officially arrived in Hollywood, but with the industry already seeing her as the next pretty face, her challenge would be breaking free from typecasting. Theron had only just dipped her toe into Hollywood. Now, when the rest of us dip our feet into something like water, we usually get wet, unless you're wearing Vessi shoes, today's sponsor and the maker of my new favorite shoe. I've been wearing Vessis for months now, and they're not only stylish, they're also extremely comfortable, easy to slip on, and waterproof. Just look at how good they look here. With fall right around the corner, Vessies can be your perfect companion for chill walks to class, pumpkin spice latte runs, or post-work hangouts. And with the fall weather being, well, fall weather, you don't have to worry about your feet getting wet. These days, I don't really care what weather it is because I know I could just rock my Vessies without a problem. They also make some extremely comfortable socks that I've been wearing regularly. They're not just great for everyday wear, but also for active wear. I found that they're great when I go play tennis or just work out. Navigate crowded streets, patios, and surprise puddles in style with what might become your new favorite shoe, the Weekend Sneaker by Vessi. It comes in a variety of colors, so you'll for sure be able to find one that suits your style. From those warm fall days to surprise showers, Vessi keeps your feet dry and your style on point. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to grab your pair now at vessi.com/filmstack with 15% off your first order. They offer free shipping on orders over $110 and come with a 1-year warranty. On top of that, they have worry-free 30-day returns, so you're covered for every journey. Thank you, Vessi, for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. After The Devil's Advocate, Theron worked non-stop but was stuck in underwritten wife or girlfriend roles that weren't taken as seriously, and most of the films reviewed poorly. In 1998, she had a small part in Woody Allen's Celebrity as a model, and starred in Mighty Joe Young playing a woman who raises a giant gorilla, but both bombed. She ended the decade with The Cider House Rules, where she played a woman seeking an abortion in this post-World War II orphanage story. It was a smaller part, but praised, giving her more depth than past roles and did well in theaters. Her other 1999 film, The Astronaut's Wife with Johnny Depp, flopped, though critics said her performance was stronger than the rest of the film. It was becoming a pattern. Theron stood out in weak films, but the box office mattered more to studios. As she later put it, I kept finding myself in a place where directors would back me, but studios didn't. The year 2000 really highlighted the problem. She starred in 4 films, but only 1 was a box office hit. Reindeer Games with Ben Affleck was shredded by critics, with Theron later calling it her least favorite film of hers. The Legend of Bagger Vance underused her. The Yards reviewed well and she held her own among a strong cast, and Men of Honor was the one hit but gave her little to work with. In just 1 year, she was the love interest to Affleck, Matt Damon, Joaquin Phoenix, and Robert De Niro, showing how blatantly she was being typecast, underused, and passed around. Auditions even asked her to just play the girl from 2 Days in the Valley. Friends told her to strike while the iron's hot, but she knew repeating the same roles wouldn't last long. In 2001, she reunited with Keanu Reeves for Sweet November, playing a woman who takes in men for a month to fix their lives. Critics tore it apart, and she even admitted the story had potential but didn't work. That same year, she had a supporting role in Woody Allen's The Curse of the Jade Scorpion, which was another flop. 2002 only continued the slump. In Trapped, she played a mother whose daughter is kidnapped, a role that gave her a chance to show more of her range, co-starring alongside Stuart Townsend, who she dated for most of the decade. But critics trashed the film. One review summed it up: the most frightening sight is Theron and Kevin Bacon, good actors trapped in the muck of making a living. She also starred in Waking Up in Reno, which didn't help her career either. At this point, she was at a career low point, boxed into roles that wasted her talent. She realized her looks made branching out harder, so she decided to go to the extreme, abandoning them entirely to prove herself. That chance came in 2003, a pivotal year. First was The Italian Job, a heist film about a group of thieves planning to steal from a past member that betrayed them. Theron played a skilled safecracker and only woman in the crew. She was the first choice for the part and even trained with a professional safecracker. The cast took stunt driving lessons and learned from an ex-Formula 1 driver. And guess who the cast all agreed was the best driver amongst them? Theron. She was very into it. Where others like Mark Wahlberg were puking after doing a 360, Theron was loving it. She got so into it that she even picked up 2 speeding tickets during production. The film reviewed well, was a box office hit, and showed she could hold her ground in an action ensemble, a sign of what was to come. But her other 2003 film changed everything. In Monster, she transformed into real-life serial killer Eileen Wuornos, who murdered men from 1989 to 1990. Director Patty Jenkins said Theron's performance in The Devil's Advocate convinced her Theron was right for the role. Even Theron was surprised to be approached. Jenkins later explained, "Honestly, I looked at everyone else and thought I could kick their butts. You? I'm not so sure." Theron knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so she really committed. She gained 30 pounds, wore prosthetic teeth, and shaved her eyebrows until she was unrecognizable. It was also her first producing credit, though her financier initially thought he was funding a hot lesbian film with Christina Ricci and panicked when he saw the dailies. But when the film premiered, everyone was stunned. After nearly a decade of roles built around her beauty, no one could believe it was her. And it wasn't even just the appearance, but Theron understood and became Wuornos.
Look, I'm just trying to talk to you here, woman to woman, truthfully, you know. Hey! 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 say?
It released to great reviews and box office numbers, with critic Roger Ebert, a longtime believer of Theron, calling Monster the best film of the year, and called her performance one of the greatest in the history of cinema. The Academy agreed. She got her first Oscar nomination and win, making her the first South African to win an acting Oscar. Many still call it one of the most deserved wins of this century. Where most actors would have played it safe, Theron threw away what Hollywood saw as her biggest asset at the time, her looks, and proved she was much more than that. With her Oscar and The Italian Job showing her potential in action, she had finally broken free of typecasting. Her post-Oscar career was all over the place. She proved Monster wasn't a fluke, chased prestige roles, gave action another go, and still stumbled into many flops. In 2004, she became the face of Dior's J'adore fragrance, a partnership that lasted 2 decades and earned her $2 million a year. That same year, she played actress Britt Eklund in HBO's The Life and Death of Peter Sellers, earning her Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. A year later came North Country, based on a true story inspired by the first major sexual harassment case in the United States. Theron played a single mother who takes a job in the Minnesota iron mines and faces constant abuse from male co-workers. She even spent time with women who lived through it, and the role earned her another Oscar nomination.
You're gonna tell me how to be a parent now? On Glory, with all your personal experience? Karen, get in the truck. No, get in the truck!
Roger Ebert praised her, saying she's an actress who has the beauty of a fashion model but has found resources within herself for these powerful roles about unglamorous women in the world of men. But for something more lighthearted, she appeared in Arrested Development Season 3 as Rita, Michael Bluth's girlfriend. Theron said she took the role simply because she loved doing comedy and loved the show's writing. But for every high, there was a low. 2004's Head in the Clouds was a flop, and 2005's Aeon Flux set back her action star ambitions. It was her first lead in a sci-fi action movie, playing an assassin in a futuristic world where most of Earth's population had been wiped out. She trained hard, did a lot of stunts herself, and then just 10 days into filming, she slipped while doing back handsprings. She herniated a disc, spent a week in the hospital and weeks in a neck brace, but still pushed to do her stunts afterwards. Sadly, the movie itself was a disaster, trashed for being incoherent and over-stylized, and it tanked at the box office. Her only real commercial hit for the rest of the decade was Hancock in 2008, playing opposite Will Smith, who played a reckless, alcoholic superhero. It showed she could thrive in blockbusters, but more importantly, it gave her the freedom to keep chasing smaller, riskier roles. Like in The Valley of Elah in 2007, where she played a small-town cop working with Tommy Lee Jones to investigate his son's disappearance. Or The Road in 2009, the dark father-son post-apocalypse movie where she played the mother, mostly in flashbacks. Her role was expanded from the book, and she went at it so hard she actually injured her vocal cords during some screaming scenes. Around this time, she also produced projects like Sleepwalking and The Burning Plain, though they never came close to the highs of Monster. She took a 2-year break from film afterwards, but came back swinging with Young Adult in 2011. She played a divorced, alcoholic teen book series ghostwriter in a dark comedy, an unlikable lead that she nailed.
Mary Ellen, you were great tonight. It's so inspiring to see a single mother with so much confidence on stage. Really.
It earned great reviews and a Golden Globe nod for her, with Roger Ebert once again calling her one of the best actors working today. 2012 was her blockbuster year. In Snow White and the Huntsman, she went all in as Queen Ravenna, one of her most over-the-top theatrical performances. Critics said she devoured every scene. To get the walk down, she said she literally thought the word murder in her head while keeping a straight face. She even tore a stomach muscle from screaming in one scene. The film was a hit, getting a sequel in 2016 that flopped, but the infamous Sony email hack revealed Hemsworth was making $10 million more for the film. So she refused to sign on until she got equal pay, and she got it. That same summer, she starred in Prometheus, Ridley Scott's big return to the Alien universe. In this prequel, she played Meredith Vickers, a cold corporate exec overseeing the mission. The role was expanded during development, and her performance ended up being one of the more memorable parts of a movie that did well with both critics and audiences. By now, she'd proven she could balance prestige dramas and major blockbusters, but nothing would prepare her for Mad Max Fury Road, which she called the most difficult movie she's ever made. It's a post-apocalyptic film built around one long desert chase, with Theron's Furiosa driving the war rig, trying to free enslaved wives, and Tom Hardy's Max caught in the middle of it all. To play Furiosa, Theron shaved her head, even needing to wear a wig on A Million Ways to Die in the West to cover it up. The film was basically one giant chase through the Namibian desert, shot with minimal CGI, with more than 150 custom vehicles and over 150 stunt performers. Almost everything you see in the film, they actually did, even hiring Cirque du Soleil performers for some scenes. The shoot lasted 6 brutal months and really tested the cast and crew. Hardy and Theron had a hard time understanding George Miller's vision, but had an even tougher time with each other. Theron was very professional and punctual during filming, whereas Hardy was constantly showing up late. One time, Theron was waiting in the war rig on time knowing Hardy would show up late, only for Hardy to come 3 hours late. She erupted, wanting him to be fined for every minute wasted. With their confrontation being so heated, she requested a bodyguard for the rest of the shoot. She later said she felt bad because it was like 2 parents fighting in the front of the car, with everyone else on set stuck watching. At one point, she even accidentally broke Hardy's nose during a fight scene. But despite all the chaos, the film got finished and turned into one of the greatest action movies of all time. It won 6 Oscars, did well at the box office, and instantly became a classic. Hardy did well with the limited dialogue, but it was Furiosa who carried the film's emotional weight, all while taking part in some of the best action sequences ever shot. Furiosa wasn't just another action role. It proved Theron could carry one of the best blockbusters of the century. With Fury Road, she stopped being an actress who sometimes did action. It was the beginning of becoming one of the defining action stars of her generation. And as always, she didn't settle there. Her next chapter would build on that action star image while still chasing prestige projects and producing some of them. After Mad Max, Theron kept refusing to play it safe, taking her career in all kinds of directions and building up a new image for herself. She dipped into animation with 2017's Kubo and the Two Strings, voicing the monkey who joins Kubo on his journey. The movie was one of Laika's best reviewed, and Theron's performance really stood out. Her next animated outing didn't land as well. She voiced Morticia in 2019's Addams Family, which did fine at the box office, but critics weren't fans of. A sequel came out in 2021 and bombed on all fronts. She also kept giving comedy a shot. She produced and co-starred in 2018's Gringo and 2019's Long Shot alongside Seth Rogen. The latter reviewed well and followed a journalist hired by his childhood crush, now running for president. It's a sharp, funny rom-com that showed Theron can do lighthearted roles just as well as prestigious ones. And honestly, it deserves a lot more attention than it got.
Jesus!
Why would you just barge in here while I'm sleeping?
You were sleeping?
Yes, I was micro-napping.
But her bread and butter after Mad Max was action. The biggest step was Atomic Blonde in 2017 that she produced and spent 5 years developing. It's a Cold War spy thriller where Theron plays an MI6 agent investigating the murder of a fellow agent. She trained like crazy with 8 personal trainers and sparring sessions alongside Keanu Reeves while he prepped for John Wick 2. She bruised a rib and cracked 2 teeth from clenching her jaw too hard during filming, but it paid off. The fights felt raw and messy, especially the now famous single-take stairwell sequence. The movie reviewed well, and it proved Theron could carry an R-rated action film on her own, turning her into an A-list action star. That same year, she joined one of the biggest franchises, Fast and Furious, with the Fate of the Furious playing Cypher, a cyber terrorist who manipulates Dom into betraying his crew. The film was a massive hit and she came back for F9 and Fast 10, but she didn't actually get many action scenes until Fast 10, where she finally got a few fight scenes. She grabbed the spotlight again in 2020 with Netflix's The Old Guard, playing the leader of immortal mercenaries who secretly protect the world. She produced it, pushed for the comics to be adapted, and did a lot of combat training, including with her character's battle axe. Reviews were solid, with most saying the action carried a pretty weak script, but it did well enough to get a sequel in 2025, which got far worse reviews. And as if she wasn't already everywhere in action, Theron popped up in the MCU, appearing in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as Clea in the post-credits scene, setting her up for more Marvel projects. But Theron put just as much work into her dramatic roles, maybe even more. In 2018, she took on her most transformative role since Monster with Tully, playing a worn-down mother of 3 who becomes friends with her new nanny. Reuniting with the director and writer of Young Adult, Theron committed fully, gaining nearly 50 pounds on a junk food diet. She later admitted it left her feeling depressed and it took a year and a half to lose the weight. But the physical change was only part of it. Her performance was raw and vulnerable, reminding audiences that even after becoming an action star, she could still give the kind of grounded, emotional work that had won her an Oscar in the first place. She went through another transformation in 2019's Bombshell, a dramatization of the Fox News sexual harassment scandal. Playing Megyn Kelly, Theron disappeared behind prosthetic makeup so well it was hard to believe it was her. She even convinced legendary makeup artist Kazuhiro to come out of retirement for the film, and he won the Oscar for his work. Theron's performance was equally praised, precise without ever being a parody, and it earned her another Oscar nomination and again proved she hadn't abandoned prestige dramas.
It's like we're telling women, go on, speak up for yourself, just know the entire network is with Roger.
Theron produced both Tully and Bombshell, but one of her more surprising producing credits was the Netflix series Mindhunter, which became a cult favorite. Her producing work was starting to rival her acting career, backing projects she believed in whether or not she appeared in them. And that's really been the story of her career in recent years. She now has more projects lined up as a producer than as an actor, but there are still 2 major upcoming roles: Apex, a survival thriller about a rock climber hunted in the wilderness, and Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, maybe the most anticipated film of next year, where she'll play Circe, the witch goddess who meets Odysseus on his journey home, one of the film's best casting choices. Even now, she shows no sign of slowing down and looks to still be an A-lister for years to come. Charlize Theron has built a career on never taking the easy route, from abandoning the typical love interest roles by shattering her image in Monster, to redefining herself as one of the greatest modern action stars with Fury Road and Atomic Blonde. She's always chosen risk over comfort. Along the way, she's racked up injuries, an Oscar, and a producing career that keeps her in control of the stories she wants to tell. If there's one constant in all of it, it's that Theron never played it safe. Not with her career, not with her body, and not with the legacy she continues to build. So there you have it. Charlize Theron's career and all her best films. What's your favorite role of hers? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe, and check out our Patreon for some cool perks. But until next time, have a good one.